Okay, we're calling into session the Committee on Public Safety, Intergovernmental and Military Affairs for the Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022, 1 p.m. Office room 229. And these are the things I gotta say. So this meeting is being streamed live on YouTube, and in the unlikely event we have to abruptly end this hearing due to technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on
Senator, we actually don't have another shot because the deadline is tomorrow. So
oh, okay. So sorry, this is it. And testifiers participating remotely, your audio will be muted and video disabled shortly until before it's your turn to testify. And if you're testifying, you have a minute to testify. I'll be reading a list of individuals who submitted written testimony for each measure. We apologize if the closed captioning doesn't accurately transcribe the names. If you're interested in reviewing the written testimony, please go to the legislature's website. You'll find a link on the status page. So on this particular measure, which is House Bill 1584, relating to power of arrest. When the committee previously took action on House Bill 1584, the incorrect amendments were announced during the decision-making process. So the committee will reconsider its previous decision to pass with amendments, and the recommendation once again will be to pass with amendments, but the correct amendment is as follows. Clarifying findings related to Act 95, Session Laws of Hawaii 2008, technical, non-substantive amendments for the purpose of clarity and consistency. So, do we need to discuss this any further? No. Otherwise, we can go directly into decision making. Okay, the recommendation is to be retaking a vote on this essentially with the statements I just made. So to pass with amendments on House Bill 1584. Yeah. Okay. So members, any questions? Otherwise, chair goes aye.
Members vote on HB 1584, passing with amendments. Chair votes aye. I vote aye. Senator Baker.
Aye.
Senator Rivera excused. Senator Favela excused. Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you. Now I think that moves up to 805.
the 105.
105, correct. 105. Okay, so now we're at the 105 agenda. And the first measure on the 105, testifiers list. We have Lee Hayakawa, Assistant Public Defender on Zoom.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Assistant Public Defender Lee Hayakawa. The Office of the Public Defender strongly supports HB 1567 HD1 and sees it as a good first step towards a more just and equitable pretrial bail system. The OPD also has concerns with some of the language included in this measure, which is outlined in our written testimony. I will remain for questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Lauren Nakamura, Deputy Attorney General.
Good afternoon, Chair Nishihara and committee members. The Department of the Attorney General strongly opposes this bill for the reasons stated in our written testimony. We stand by available for questions. We also would note there is no appropriations to DPS regarding the bail video conferencing. Thank you.
Okay. We have I'll do the people either in person or Zoom first. So Tricia Nakamatsu, Deputy Prosecuting Attorney.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, Senator Baker, Deputy Prosecutor Tricia Nakamasa, on behalf of the Honolulu Prosecuting Attorney's Department. We are in opposition to the bill, and while we can appreciate the desire not to hold pretrial detainees any longer than necessary, we understand that things may be moving to a cashless bail system, and we're not opposed to the concept. Eventually, once we feel the appropriate safeguards are in place, this simply doesn't present such a system. And in particular, we're very concerned that some of the quote unquote non-violent misdemeanor or petty misdemeanor types of offenses that could be automatically released on recognizance would actually be a lot more serious than people might imagine otherwise. Things like violation of an injunction against harassment, harassment by stalking, promoting pornography for minors, solicitation of minor prostitution, and there's others. These are just the first few that we thought we wanted to point out. We're available for questions, if any. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Carrie Ann Shirota on Zoom. Carrie. Is Carrie available?
There she is.
Oh, there you are, Carrie.
Aloha, Senator Sauter is having difficulties with my button here. Aloha, Chair Nishihara, Vice Chair DeQuaid, members of the committee, Carrie Ann Shirota on behalf of the ACLU of Hawaii. We offer comments relating to this bill that has been described as bill reform. The ACLU envisions a criminal pretrial system consistent with our constitutional protections for equal protection and due process rights, where people are considered innocent until proven guilty. Under our current system, there is a fundamental unfairness where the size of a person's wallet dictates whether they are held in custody or released, regardless of innocence. We seek to change our criminal pretrial system with specific amendments, and we want to highlight, we have several pages that were outlined. We want to highlight some things in particular. We would like to move towards a standard where it's based upon whether the person poses a risk of flight, an intentional flight risk, absconding, which is a legal standard, or that they pose a serious risk of harm to other persons. This particular measure does not move in that direction. We want cash bail elimination. If you look at our amendments, we also ask for that we include all petty misdemeanor, all misdemeanors, as well as Class C, because if we go back to the fundamental standard that a person could be detained if they pose a serious flight risk or a risk of harm to others, the court has the ability to detain that person. As you may recall, there was a case about a year ago where a person is alleged to have violently raped a woman, beaten her. And in that case, that individual was detained but released because he was wealthy enough to post bail. So if we want a system and we're truly working towards community safety, we need to balance constitutional rights and have that standard in place. And we need to go back again, is that person a flight risk and or serious risk to others? Now, there are so many carved out exceptions in this bill that we would like to see those carved out exceptions removed. For example, if a person is charged with driving under the influence, operating a vehicle under the influence, they would not be able to be released under this particular statute. Again, the burden of proof should be on the government. There's also a provision, a carve out, that if somebody is on probation or parole and they have a technical violation and they're back in for maybe a alleged charge of a petty misdemeanor, this particular bill as drafted would categorically exclude them. Even the person maybe, again, it's a technical violation at that point. They should be considered innocent until proven guilty. We'd also like to point out in terms of an amendment that given the law intent of lawmakers, which is the bill, the preamble says to decrease population. Currently, nearly 60% of all people in our jails throughout Hawaii, from MCCC to Hawaii Island to OCCC, are in because of pretrial. They're pretrial detainees. They have not been convicted of any crime. We also ask that the court put on the records written findings. If they are going to be detaining a person, removing them from the community, from their families, from their jobs, where they could possibly lose their children, there should be a written record of findings, a reason not to release. We also ask that the court be required to determine a person's financial ability to afford bail. We have specific language that the court shall exclude from consideration any income derived from public benefits, including security income, social security, disability insurance, temporary assistance for needy families, that is embedded into the statute. You know, we've heard again today, sort of time and time again, that if we do this, that the sky is essentially going to fall. But what we are looking for and moving towards cash bail elimination is something that the federal criminal legal system has had in place for over 20 years. There's a system in place. Other states have moved towards cash bail elimination. New Jersey has led the way. And after 4 years, they have data to prove that it saves taxpayers dollars. It has reduced their jail population by 40%. People continue to show up to court up to 90%, and also that there was no increase in crime. So please pass substantive bail reform. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Okay, next we have Tina Tina Yamaki. Okay, she is in opposed. She was supposed to be here in person. Esther Gill.
Not present, Chair.
You're not present. She was in support. Lee Curran.
Yes,
Lee.
thank you for this opportunity. Aloha, Chair Nishihara, Vice Chair DeCoit, and members of the PSM committee. My name is Lee Curran, and I am testifying as an individual who is a co-facilitator of the Transformative Justice Task Force, which is part of Faith Action for Community Equity, also known as FACE. I am testifying in support with comments on House Bill 1567. I am unequivocally in support of comprehensive bail reform and would like to comment and request that you restore the bill to its original intent prior to the amendments. Specifically, amend the bill to include Class C nonviolent felonies as listed in the original draft. I'd like to reiterate what Carrie Ann shared, that data suggests that money bail can allow for the release of high-risk defendants who have the financial means to secure release, yet should be detained without bail.
We have your testimony, so
Okay, so
thank you very much.
I will end there. I am grateful for this opportunity to testify in support of House Bill 1567 and ask that you restore the bill to its original intent. Thank you.
Lee. Next, we have Kristen Young. Kristen.
Aloha, Chair Nishihara, Vice Chair DeCoit, and committee members. My name is Kristen Young, and I live in Honolulu. I'm here in my individual capacity, and I am also a member of Faith Action for Community Equity, and I support House Bill 1567 and respectfully ask that you consider restoring the original intent of the bill. Member. In addition to the degrading conditions and isolation we think of, incarceration creates inequities that can permanently derail someone's life, making it a challenge to attain things like housing, education, child custody, employment. On top of all this, it is extremely costly to the state.
Could you wrap it up?
All right, instead of holding ourselves prisoner to the false idea that jails and prisons keep our communities safe, we could be investing in healing rather than.
Thank you. Next, we have Rachel. I believe.
It's okay. Is it Chung?
How you pronounce it?
It's Chung.
Chung.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for helping me
It's
out
a Dutch
here.
spelling. Aloha, Chairman Nishihara, Vice Chairwoman DeCoit, and community members. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Rachel Chung, and I'm a master's graduate student at University of Hawaii. I stand on my written testimony submitted previously, but I would like to highlight my main point that public safety is a public health issue during the ongoing COVID pandemic. As many as 57% of men and women are in Hawaii prisons and jails that are awaiting trial. We know that institutionalized populations are at high risk for rapid spread of disease, as well as infections of COVID that can cause worsening health conditions. We also know that Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders are at increased risk to be incarcerated, increased risk for chronic health diseases, and they're at increased risk for COVID because they're institutionalized. By eliminating cash bail for people accused of nonviolent, low-level offenses, these individuals can await trial in their own communities with the people that can support them. This will save the state significant amounts of money while decreasing further risk of spread of COVID, as well as health complications that are arising from the COVID infection. This in turn decreases stress on our healthcare systems, which provide care not only to those of us living in Hawaii, but also to our Pacific neighbors and the armed forces, the men and women in the armed forces that are in the Indo-Pacific region. Public health is a public safety issue. Working to maintain our health in each part of our community makes all of us healthier. Please support HB 1567. Thank you.
Thank you. And your testimony that you just read, you want to give it to the committee?
Oh, I submitted it online.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yana Williams. Yana Williams.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Aloha, honorable senators. My name is Tiana Williams, and I am a student at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. I come to you today in regards to the HB 1567 bill, which could alter the usage of cash bail and cause for defendants to be released on positive nonviolent offenses. I'm urging you to support HB 1567 because cash bail can disrupt lives, and I know personally just how it can do so. I am in strong support of this bill because pretrial detention frequently results in devastating results, which have an effect on people along with their families for generations. The ACLU Hawaii found that almost 70% of pretrial detainees who charge their pleas with the innocent to guilty or no consent did so while in jail, primarily because they could not afford bail. Defendants who can't make bail are prone to losing their jobs along with the income that helps to support their families, that can pay their rent, utilities, place food on the table, oftentimes also leading families to be in debt and become homeless. I have experienced the effects of cash bail when my father was charged with a nonviolent offense. My father decided to stay in jail because he could not afford to pay bail, knowing he had 4 children at home who needed the money to put food on the table, which left my mother trying to make ends meet going in and out of shelters. For years to come after that, my mother and father struggled to support us and feed us. I felt the need to testify today in hopes that other families would not have to face the harsh effects of cash bail like my family has. By ending cash bail, people will have more equal opportunity without risk of debt, losing their jobs, homelessness, and losing custody of their children. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to hear my testimony.
Can you submit your testimony to the clerk? Thank you. Oh, we have it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Vanessa Chachek. I pronounced your name right?
Patrick, the first case silent. Can't blame me for that one. Hello, honorable senators. My name is Vanessa Hatchick, and I'm testifying in support of House Bill 1567. The current monetary bail system we have in place has created disproportionate barriers for certain groups of people, specifically low to middle class families, Kanaka Maoli, and other people of color. Hawaii has been hit especially hard by COVID-19 and already disparate economic relations here between social classes and people. And it's made it very difficult for families to come up with even a few $100s in the case of an emergency, as for many Americans, but even more so true here. And monetary bail punishes Americans for their inability to pay rather than whatever they have done. And many defendants who do change their pleas do so for a financial reason rather than actually have committing the crime. But condemning poor people to prison violates constitutional protections guaranteed under the 8th Amendment, which defends Americans from having to pay excessive fines. And a person incarcerated is at risk of losing anything, including their kids, their housing, their property. And this specifically affects Kanaka Maoli more than other groups of people who happen to also be overrepresented in our unhoused demographics. Unhoused individuals are at higher risk of committing low-level and nonviolent offenses. And Kanaka Maoli are also more likely than their white counterparts to remain in jail after an arrest, even in cases of very similar nature. These correlations, the criminalization of houselessness, the imposition of monetary bail, unfairly targets groups of people who are already struggling, and these barriers can make it nearly impossible for an individual to recover after an arrest. I think that this bill is a critical step in eliminating our wealth-based system and promoting real justice. And please support inserting the ACLU Hawaii's amendments and vote yes on House Bill 1567.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Mahalo for your time and consideration.
Next, Missy Matuka Unutua.
Thank you. Pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, I got a lot easy with these
You
names.
can call me Missy, Senator. Aloha, honorable senators here today. Talo falava, malolo soifua lo ingoa Miss Matoka to masanga unutoa. Currently, I am an engineering student at the University of Hawaii Manoa, and I'm here today as a first-timer giving testimony with my colleagues here at the state capitol. I am here speaking today as a student of my American Studies course on social movements, as a witness of the negative effects of cash and monetary bail, and as a supporter to pass this bill in Hawaii State Legislature. It is well known that cash bail impacts people of color negatively than their white counterparts, and there needs to be action now. I am of American Samoan descent, and I have seen these negative effects of cash bail happen to my family members here in the state of Hawaii and on the US mainland. For too long has my people been affected by these outrageous and expensive cash bails that our government uses against defendants. Overcrowded jails, mishandling of inmates, improper jail maintenance are all the after effects of cash bail implementation, and I say that we need to get rid of cash bail in its entirety. I fully support the passing of HB 1567, and I pray that the committee find it in their hearts to help past, current, and future defendants overcome and resolve the issues with implementing cash bails. Fa'afitai lawatele for this opportunity. Thank you.
Next, we have Haley Helton.
Aloha, honorable senators. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you today and give my personal testimony in strong support of House Bill 1567. My name is Haley Helton, and I'm an undergraduate student at the University of Hawaii. I stand on the written testimony that I submitted on this bill. However, today I really want to emphasize one of the two main points that I addressed. There are only two nations in the entire world that allow for-profit bond companies to operate, America and the Philippines. In many other countries, agreeing to pay a defendant's bond in exchange for money is a serious crime, equivalent even to witness tampering or bribing a juror. The entire world, apart from the Philippines, has abolished our bail system. That is because it is wholly unfair, corrupt, classist, and racist. The fact that we are only one of two countries to practice this unfair bail system should speak volumes in and of itself. It should make us feel uncomfortable and embarrassed that we have such a blatantly discriminatory bail system. The rest of the world is looking down on us. We have waited long enough, and we are tired of begging for a fair and just bail system. The time for major reform is now, and this bill is a great starting point. We must eliminate cash bail. Mahalo for this opportunity to testify in support of HB 1567. Thank you.
We had 34 people, individuals in support, 4 opposed, and 1 or 2 with comments. Which members' questions. Otherwise, we'll move on to House Bill.
Wait a minute. Senator, would you like to ask if anybody else?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see your name there.
Oh, I signed up too, but maybe too late. It was late this morning.
Okay, we'll take.
Are you Tristan Youssef Leo? No.
No.
Okay. That was the
Okay.
only name on here that didn't show up.
Yeah. Okay. Gotta be you.
Summarize quickly.
I know, I will. I'm not going to read my testimony, but I'm going to thank you very much for the opportunity to actually support real bail reform. You know, the HD1 took out 2 really important things. Basically, it said that Class C felonies, it eliminated. And the other thing is it said that anybody whose bail is $99 or below, they took that out. And I'm thinking, why are we incarcerating all these people who are poor? We know that in California, the Humphrey decision basically said that, you know, putting a monetary thing on bail is unconstitutional because you're judging people by how rich they are. So we hope that incarcerating the indigent is not a hallmark of Hawaii's system. In summary, we respectfully ask that you restore the bill to those 2 other provisions and just
Thank you.
Let's get rid of this. Thank you.
Brady. although you didn't identify yourself.
We don't have.
Oh, the person behind,
From Community Alliance
Right.
on Prisons.
you and I know each other. The person in the back of you. Will identify you. Yeah.
I pushed the button incorrectly.
Okay, want to identify yourself first.
Aloha, Senators. I'm Robert Perkinson. I'm a professor at UH and a specialist in the transformation of criminal justice institutions. Many proposals that we consider for making our criminal justice system more fair or cost-effective involve trade-offs, risks, or the evidence is difficult to sort through. But this is really not one of those cases. The evidence on bail reform is pretty overwhelming that the current system we have works really poorly. That's true at a conceptual level because cash bail is built on a simple idea that you should be able to buy yourself out of jail, with the amount pegged loosely to the seriousness of the offense and almost not at all to the ability of a defendant to pay. And in practice, it's worse. It's woefully dysfunctional. It ends up degrading public safety, eroding public trust, bloating our jails, wasting taxpayer resources, exacerbating racial and economic inequalities, and in the end, really wrecking the lives of indigents who can be totally innocent. For very little amounts of money, we know from evidence that even access to $500 can be impossible, and those defendants therefore can lose their jobs, they can therefore lose their kids, they can lose their housing, and then sets a cycle in motion that we really have a great deal of difficulty stopping afterwards. So, those are the reasons why debtor imprisonment was outlawed generations ago and why almost every country in the world has moved away from cash bail. We've relied on it for too long, but you all really have a chance now to begin at least rectifying a fundamental wrong. And I hope that you take it by supporting 1567. It suffers a little bit from modesty, I believe. There are too many types of crimes excluded. In truth, I believe releasing a rapist or a murderer with a large bank account makes even less sense than allowing a shoplifter to buy freedom. But HB 1567 does take a step in the right direction. It seems that this reform is not going to come from the DA's office. It's not going to come from the judiciary. So that really leaves you to lead. And I believe in time you'll be proud that you did and that you can have confidence that you're bringing sound governance and greater justice to Hawaii. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Okay, next, we're going to move on to House Bill 957, House Draft 1. And we have Kathy Betts for Human Services. Kathy, is there?
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Mimari Hall, Department of Human Services, Policy Director, testifying on behalf of Director Betts. DHS stands on its written testimony in support of this measure. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Next, we have Frank Pace.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Thank you for your time. I'm Frank Pace, Administrator for the Office of Homeland Security. I stand on my testimony as submitted in support of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any others in the Zoom space out there that want to testify on this bill? Anybody in the audience? No? Okay, and we're going to move on to. Yeah, okay, right. There were 6 people in support, no opposition, and 0 comments. Okay, next we do House Bill 1415, House Draft 2. And we have Patricia Kirkland, Department of Defense.
Aloha, my name is Patricia Kirkland. I'm a program manager with the Hawaii State Fusion Center, testifying on behalf of the Hawaii Department of Defense. We'll stand on our written testimony. I'm happy to answer questions. Mahalo.
Thank you. Next we have Randy Tanaka, DOE. Randy.
Thank you, Chair Nishihara. Senators, appreciate your time today. Regarding a threat assessment, we support the bill. We have provided testimony ready to answer any questions you have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There were 3 people in support, no opposition, and 1 comment, which I guess. So I guess we'll move on to the next bill. House Bill 1586, House Draft 2. And we have Luke Myers. Haima. Luke.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair. My name is Luke Myers, the Administrator of the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency. We stand our written testimony offering comments on House Bill 1586 and are available for discussion as necessary. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. And that brings us to those that have on Zoom or in the audience. We had, interestingly, 0 support and 0 opposition, but 3 comments. Haven't seen that one before. Okay, House Bill 1588, House Draft 1. And we have Luke Myers again. Luke.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair Luke Myers, the Administrator of the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency. Haima stands on our written testimony in support of House Bill 1588 and are available for discussion as necessary. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Kathy Betts. Yes, on my on Zoom.
Yeah. Good afternoon again, Chair, Vice Chair, and the members of the committee. Mimari Hall, Department of Human Services, Policy Director, testifying on behalf of Director Betts. DHS stands on its written testimony in support of this measure and defers to the Department of Defense, Hawaii Emergency Management, and the Department of Budget and Finance. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Okay, thank you. Had 2 support, 1 opposed, and 1 comment. Okay, that brings us to House Bill 2118, House Draft 1. And there was 1 individual with letter of support. Otherwise, that was all. Anyone else for that bill? No. Okay, House Bill 2119, House Draft 2. And we have Luke Myers again.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair Luke Myers, the Administrator of the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency. We stand on a written testimony in support of House Bill 2119 and are available for discussion as necessary. Thank you so much.
Okay, looks like, look, you're earning your pay today. We had 2 support, 1 opposed, 0 comments. Moving on to House Bill 1747, House Draft 2. We have Glenn Scott.
Scott Glenn.
Oh, Scott Glenn, I'm sorry. Never knew my 2 first names.
Aloha Chair Nishihara, Vice Chair DeCoit, and members of the committee. Gail Suzuki Jones here on behalf of Scott Glenn, Chief Energy Officer. Hawaii State Energy Office stands on its written testimony in opposition to House Bill 1747. Mahalo for the opportunity to provide testimony.
Thank you. Daryl Takamiya.
Aloha Chair, members of the committee, Stephanie Sakamoto on behalf of BIA Hawaii will stand on our testimony in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and I think that brings us to the end of their agenda. So we go to the research and the breakout room. Research with the breakout. Coming back into the hearing of March 22nd, 2022, 105. Anyway, for House Bill 1567, the committee has conferred and we will pass House Bill 1567 as is. The bill will move on to the Judiciary Committee, who might be more inclined to make any changes. Okay, so House Bill 1567 as is. Chair goes aye.
Members voting on HB 1567, House Draft 1, Chair's recommendation is to pass as is. Chair votes aye. I vote aye. Senator Baker.
Aye.
Senator Rivera.
Aye.
Senator Favela, excuse, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. Next, House Bill 957, House Draft 1. SMA requested that it has technical amendments noting the missing page 13, I guess, in the HRS, and the statutory language that will be included. So to pass with amendments. Chair goes aye.
Members voting on HB 957, House Draft 1. Chair's recommendation passed with amendments, recognizing all members here with the excuse of Senator Favela. Any reservations or nays? Seeing none, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. And House Bill 1415 is to pass it as is. Chair goes aye.
Members voting on HB 1415, bless you, House Draft 2. Recommendation is to pass as is, recognizing all members here. Any reservations or nays? Well, with the excuse of Senator Favela, any reservations or nays? Seeing none, Chair, recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you. House Bill 1586 is going to be amendments proposed by Hawai'i to restore the 2.5 million rollover provision. So to pass with amendment. Chair goes aye.
Members voting on HB 1586, House Draft 2. Chair's recommendation passed with amendments, recognizing all members here with the excuse of Senator Favela. Any reservations or nays? Seeing none, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
House Bill 1588 to pass it as is. Chair goes aye.
Members voting on HB 1588, House Draft 1. Chair's recommendation is to pass as is, recognizing all members here except with the exception of Senator Favela. Is there any reservations or nays? Seeing none, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
House Bill 2118 is to pass it as is. Chair goes aye.
Members voting on HB 2118, House Draft 1. Chair's recommends to pass as is, recognizing all members here with the excuse of Senator Favela. Is there any reservations or nays? Seeing none, Chair, recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. House Bill 2119, House Draft 2, pass it as is.
Members voting on HB 2119, House Draft 2. Chair's recommendation to pass as is, recognizing all members here with the excuse of Senator Favela. Any reservations or nays? Seeing none, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, and the final one, House Bill 1747, House Draft 2 is to pass it as is.
Members voting on HB 1747, House Draft 2. Chair's recommendation is to pass as is, recognizing all members here with the exception of Senator Favela. Any reservations or nays? Seeing none, Chair, recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. Okay, now we have okay, we're calling into order the Committee on Public Safety, Intergovernmental and Military Affairs, and the Committee on Government Operations for Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022, the 2 o'clock agenda, Conference Room 229. And let me read what I gotta read. This meeting is being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business.
Yeah, this is more of a
Deadline.
Oh, there's a deadline, so there is.
We're gonna
This
do it
is it.
today or not?
This is it. This
We're
is
done.
it. Public, so about public notice, this is it. So testify participating remotely, your audio will be muted and video disabled until shortly before it's your turn to testify. Time limits are we're giving each testifier about a minute and a half, which we'll be enforcing. I'll be reading a list of individuals who submitted written testimony for each measure. We apologize if the closed captioning doesn't accurately transcribe the names. And if you're interested in reviewing the written testimony, please go to the legislature's website. You'll find a link there on the status page. So, having read that, we can begin. So, for the first testifier on House Bill 956, House Draft 1, we have Kenneth Hara, General Hara. General Hara, whoever's there is muted. It doesn't look like the general.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Frank Pace, the Administrator for the Office of Homeland Security. I'm representing General Hara today. General Hara stands on his testimony as submitted on this bill. Thank you, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. In support. Everett Kaneshige, Interoperability Coordinator, Department of Defense.
Good afternoon, Chair Nishihara, Chair Moriwaki, Vice Chair DeQuaite, and members of both committees. I'm Everett Kaneshige. I'm the statewide interoperability coordinator. I will stand on my written testimony that has been submitted, and I would also be happy to answer any questions that you have about my testimony or the changes that are being proposed to the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. There are 3 in support, no opposition, and no comment. So House Bill 1585, House Draft 1. We have Luke Myers for Hawai'i. There you are, Luke.
Good afternoon, Chairs, Vice Chairs. My name is Luke Myers, the Administrator of Hawai'i Emergency Management Agency. We stand on written testimony offering comments on House Bill 1585 and are available for discussion necessary. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ted Fowler,
Not present, Chair.
not present. Okay, sent in comments. And we have Trevor Barzua.
Yes, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, Trevor.
Thank you, chairs, vice chairs, members of the committee. Trevor Abrazua with the Chamber of Commerce, Hawaii. We stand on our testimony offering comments, and there is an amendment that we are asking the committee to take a look at in regards to price fluctuations that have to do with seasons. So a lot of our members and a lot of industries here in the state have to deal with price fluctuations seasonally for travel or for other commodities. So we ask that the committee take a look at this amendment and consider it. But happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much.
Okay. There were one support, one opposed, and no comment.
Well, Madam Senator, there's a around 1585, so there was 7 support.
Oh, yeah.
0 opposition.
Okay. How many?
So 7 in support, 0 opposition, and 5.
Oh. Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry, I read the wrong one. Yeah. Okay, there were 7 in support, no opposition. Okay, next, House Bill 1587, House Draft 1. We have Luke Myers again.
Afternoon, Chairs, Vice Chairs. My name is Luke Myers, the Administrator of the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency. IEMA stands on a written testimony in support of House Bill 1587 are available for discussion necessary. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Evan Luke Boyd. Oh,
Not present, Chair.
okay. He was in opposition. So this bill had 1 opposed, 1 support, and no comment. That brings us up to all of them. Okay. You got questions? Okay, which one you got question?
I have questions for Everett for 956, House Bill 956. What is the definition of interoperable. You use it throughout this whole bill, this whole chapter without having a definition, and I'm just wondering whether we should have one so we know what you're talking about. But what is it?
Yeah, and I guess that's a good point, Chair. So interoperable is what it sounds like, right? It's the ability for the operations of the various public safety communication systems to interoperate with each other. Bottom line, what that means is that if I'm in the Honolulu Police Department and I drop in on Kauai to help them with their support efforts, my radio needs to be able to talk to their radio, or my device needs to be able to hook up with their network so that I can have an effective response. And that's really, I mean, that is the crux of my job. My responsibility as the statewide interoperability coordinator is to make sure everybody's networks and systems can, to the largest extent possible, talk to each other so that we can have a coordinated response.
It would be good to have a definition, I think, in this chapter since it's new, just so that it's who is operating with whom. So is it all just state and county agencies or first responders, or, you know, who's involved in this network of interoperables, I guess.
Okay. No, and again, I think it's a good question. The chapter really sets up the interoperable executive committee and technical committee. And my thought was not to frankly get too specific in the statute, which would allow the committee really to come up with their own definitions, their own procedures, as, you know, via a charter and via bylaws, as they basically spun up. You know, obviously putting some of that information into the statute, I think is helpful, like you said, if somebody has only limited knowledge of the area. But I really didn't want to pigeonhole the folks who are actually going to be serving on the committees themselves. Just by way of that.
I would suggest something just for parameters' sake, and at least then your committee or whomever is on your working group will have some idea of what they're working with and on. So it would also give the public more information when it becomes law.
Okay, that would be fine. I can handle that. I can propose an additional amendment to have a definition and I guess expand on the concept a little bit further.
Thank you. I think that's my major question with that bill, but if you're gonna move on, then I have other questions.
No, you can help.
If I do other bills or something else. I can.
Yeah.
Okay, we just free flow. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to 1585, which is the governor's authority in emergencies. I think, is it Luke? Maybe Luke, you came with amendment? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, I'm available for questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you have stated that instead of just the National Weather Service, that we include the Weather Service, the Tsunami Warning Center, USGS. Are there any other organizations that should be included that give us fair warning of disasters? And should they be listed here, or are they called something? There's other warning organizations, I don't know what you call them, but so that the bill does include anything that's a public recognized organization gives us warning of disasters.
That's a very good question, ma'am. In consultation with the Attorney General's office, we relooked at the original 127 and it had severe weather warnings. And when we went back through, in light of the pandemic, in light of tsunami threats, earthquake threats, There are a lot of different authorities that may originate the alert message that then HIEMA or the counties would push out to the public. So we did make the recommendation to change it to severe warning. And we have identified the National Weather Service, Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, and the U.S. Geological Survey. For a lot of our natural occurring hazards, those are the primary bodies that would provide us that information. And then we did include other public authorities that may be in there. But those are the primary ones through the last several decades of disasters that have impacted the state.
And so if you look at page 15, you mentioned that it would be on line 7. The warning, the severe warning is canceled by, and what authority would you put there? Just any other public authority warning systems, or some language that would be a little more inclusive than just the National Weather Service, and then without listing everybody?
Yeah, so in consultation with the Attorney General's office, we decided just to remove weather to correspond with the changes from page 4. And instead of trying to name all the different agencies that were up above, such as the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, the National Weather Service, and/or USGS, we just said that when it was canceled, and then we would appropriately be able to respond.
So if we just say cancel, that should cover it. It's not, we don't have to name who's canceling.
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
Fine. That, I think I have, that's it for right now. I think that's it for, on 1587, I just had one question of who is the administrating agency on this interstate mutual system? Is somebody here for that? Is that you, Luke?
Yes, ma'am. This would mirror the Emergency Management Assistance Compact, which HIEMA currently works with our other state partners and our partners in the South Pacific. This would be a mirror of that for intrastate mutual aid, and HIEMA would be the lead in that logistics function and helping standing up this and implementing it with our counties.
So I think it's a good bill, but my question was, are the counties involved with this? And you've conferred with the counties and they are involved with this intrastate act?
Yes, ma'am. We have approached the county administrators about this capability. This is one of the lessons learned that we've seen from our recent disasters going back to 2018. The counties were sharing a lot of resources between each county, and there was no formal mechanism in place. There was actually an agreement for the floods of April of 2018, the lava incident. So this would create an umbrella and help with federal reimbursement when we enter this type of situation.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chair. I think that's it. You can go to research or you can go into decision.
No, you can go. No, that's always go directly to decision.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, can we go back to decision making? Okay. Recess. Go back to, we were in recess. Okay, we're back into order. The Committee on Public Safety and the Committee on Governmental Operations for the Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022, 2:00 p.m. Hearing. So the committees have confirmed, and this is the recommendation. For public safety, the recommendation is pass 956 House Draft 1 with technical amendments needed for clarity and consistency. Page 3, line 15 should read the Deputy Director of Law Enforcement. And page 18, missing It's missing statutory language which they need to put in. And also to put in that the definition of interoperable be part of this bill. So they can define it, what it means, for those who are not familiar with what it means. Okay, so for the first bill, 956, passed with amendments, chair goes aye.
Members voting on HB 956 HD1. Recommendation is to pass with amendments.
Chair goes aye.
Chair goes aye. Senator Decoit goes aye. Senator Baker.
Aye.
Senator Rivera.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair recommendation is adopted.
Thank you.
Same recommendation for Government Operations Committee. Chair votes aye.
Senator Dela Cruz
Excuse.
is excused. Senator Chang.
Aye.
Senator Gabbard.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair, your recommendation's been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. On House Bill 1585, House Draft 1, for the passed with amendments suggested by Hawai'i, page 4, lines 1 through 7, and page 15, lines 5 to 7. Included. The Chamber of Commerce also sent in that section C, the prohibition under subsection A shall remain in effect until 24 hours, and it goes on to list a number of other things in their recommendations. So to pass with amendment. Chair goes on.
Members voting on HB 1585, House Draft 1. Chair's recommendation passed with amendments. Recognizing all members here, any reservations or nays? Seeing none, chair recommendation is adopted.
Government Operations Committee, same recommendations. Chair votes aye.
Vice Chair is excused. Senator Chang.
Aye.
Senator Gabbard.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair, your recommendation's adopted.
Thank you. Okay, on House Bill 1587, House Draft 1, recommendations to pass it as is.
Members voting on HB 1587, House Draft 1. Chair's recommendation is to pass as is. Chair goes aye. Recognizing all members here, any reservations or nays? Seeing none, chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you.
Same recommendation for Government Operations Committee. Chair votes aye.
Noting the excused absence of Senator Dela Cruz, Senator Chang.
Aye.
Senator Gabbard.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair, your recommendation's adopted.
Thank you. And this concludes the hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.